So let's talk about 17 when you land the part of Colby Chandler on the classic, iconic All My Children.
It was really fun. It was really scary. I graduated high school early and I moved to New York. Well, actually, I started working, flew back, did my graduation, and I was so excited to be in New York, but I was also so scared. I remember sitting in my apartment, crying and crying, like, what did I just do? So lonely, because it's such a big city, and there's not a lot of young people on 66 West 66 and Riverside Boulevard. There's just not.
No.
But it was really, it was definitely, it was hard work. It was definitely more work than I expected. And, I always tell people the work was like as if I went to college and studied acting, for 3 years, memorizing 30 pages a day of just dialogue that's constantly like repeating what you just said because there's no reruns in soap. So you constantly have to like keep the audience up to date on what's going on. It was really hard and really difficult, but I'm so lucky I had that opportunity because I worked with some amazing, veterans like David Canary, Susan Lucci. They're just great people.
Did you watch soaps before that? Like, did you know like what a big deal All My Children was?
So funny. I remember I used to watch Days of Our Lives. I don't know why. I was young. Like, I was so young, and I would sit there and watch it when like Marlena and Stefano, and like, I don't know why I was so drawn to, maybe I was drawn to the drama of it. But so when I booked it, I was like, that's so weird. Like, maybe I put that out there in the universe and the universe didn't realize, like, just gave that to me. Yeah, I did. It's pretty wild to think about it.
So you were like an NBC, because I feel like you were either CBS, NBC, or ABC as far as like what you watched for soaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I watched Days of Our Lives because it was dark. It was like darker. And when I was younger, I was a little weird like that. I like darker things. I don't know how to say that.
No, that makes sense. For me, it was all like, it was mostly General Hospital, but then just because All My Children was on like while we were still at school, but then eventually sometimes I would tape it, but I was all about GH, so I get it.
Yeah.
Did you live alone when you lived in New York,
I,
like at 17?
it was real. That was really silly of me.
Were your parents like, what? You're going to New York? And
I grew up in a Mormon household, and like my parents were like super conservative, like controlling parents. And so for them to even let me go to New York was a big deal. I had originally booked All My Children when I was 15. And
wow.
they basically were like, the whole family would have to get up and move. And I had two other sisters, and my parents had their business out here. So there was no way. And at that point, I cannot believe my parents let me move to New York. Now that I'm thinking about it, shocking. But I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
I really am.
Did you have scenes with Susan Lucci? I just can't remember.
I did. Not a lot, but because it tied into the fact that I
Because
even
she
know.
was married to Adam Chandler at some point.
Yeah, she was. And then she was involved with the Montgomery family. And then what happened? There was like a love triangle at some point. I don't remember exactly, but there was a love triangle. So the family's like intertwined.
What was that like? Like, what was Susan like?
She's amazing. That woman is amazing. She really is. She is so delicate and dainty and like I don't know. Everything about her is so great. I remember I asked her at one point. I'm like, you come in here wearing 6-inch heels. Like, how do you do it? Like, what's the secret behind being able to wake up, put heels on, and walk around all day? And she's like, I practice when I was like, just when you're home, just put on heels and walk around. I'm like, that sounds so uncomfortable. But she's just I don't know. She's just such a wonderful woman. She's so great. And I feel so lucky to have worked with her and David Canary, obviously, who's no longer with us, but just so patient and kind. And yeah.
Was AMC like, like you go to Sirius Radio, like it's the house that Howard Stern built. There's a Stern wing. It's all about Howard Stern. Was like that, like that. I mean, everyone had a great part on All My Children, but was it like the house that Susan built and like, you just people like revered Erica Kane?
Yeah, yeah. So where we filmed, we actually were in the same building as The View, which was really fun. I really enjoyed being able to because I would go home and I'd watch The View. I don't know. It was just, it was so, and who was on The View at that point? Oh, I can't think of her name.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck? No, that was before her,
Yes,
probably. Oh, really?
it was her. And then what's the woman that Trump always gets in fights with Rosie O'Donnell? Yes.
Yeah.
She was on it too. I don't know. It's just fun. Listen, I was 17. I had like no worries. I was making a lot of money for that age, and I was having such a good time. And being in the city, it was, oh gosh, I just missed it. I really do. I love going back to New York, and the fact that I haven't been able to be back all year is like, that's the first thing I'm going to do.
You're going to come to New York.
My family and I, we were in New York in February when COVID was there, but no one knew about it.
Right.
And that was the last time that I was there. So
yeah, not being able to travel really this year is,
I know. That's why I feel like a little depressed. Like I just want to go somewhere.
I know.
Or I want to go on a plane somewhere.
I get it. I'm like a traveler, and I usually leave the U.S. Like I've already this were a normal year, I would have been out of the States like 4 to 5 times already by this.
You travel.
I mean, I've been to like 55 countries. I've been to all 7 continents. Like I'm like a traveler.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like an adventurous traveler. Like in New York, just give me my martini and let me sit at a nice establishment. But when I go away, I kind of can roll up my sleeves and like be like, okay, like this is the culture. Let's actually experience what's going on here.
That's so neat. What's the best place you've been to?
I mean, my favorite is probably Africa. I love like the animals are just so, the people are great. The food is great, but like the animals, you're just like, this is like in their natural habitat, just watching. Like and it's actually a really relaxing vacation because like you could stay well and you just sit in these like Jeeps and you're driven around all day. Like it's not like a roughing it vacation. So it's like watching a live movie, but they're animals. It's really, and you get really close a lot of the times.
Oh, wow. That's so neat.
And like there's a fear factor, but not really. I mean, then, you hear about all these things that happen, but like when you're in it, you're like, that's not going to happen to us. Because you get pretty close. So if you're the type that, you don't have to get close, but a lot of the Jeeps get really close to the animals. So
that's so cool. One day.
I would highly recommend it. So All My Children, you never saw any like diva behavior from Miss Lucci on set. She was like just wonderful.
No. Yeah. No. She really is. She's so great.